Good morning. How's everybody doing on this fine, beautiful Wednesday? Hopefully everybody's doing fantastic. Hopefully everybody's banking some cash. Yeah, Fartcoin does look a little bit weak, doesn't it? It does look like it wants to break down, no freaking doubt. And if it does break down, I have a downside target of July's low right there at $1. What it does after that will be anybody's guess. There is some stuff going on over here. Hypecoin broke down out of its ascending trend line yesterday, and it has given all of that breakdown back. This, my friends, if it doesn't roll over soon, is going to be a false breakdown. So if you got Hypecoin breaking down or putting in a potential false breakdown here, I don't know how much more downside we can expect to get on Fartcoin. So I'm a little bit perplexed here. We got the VIX making fresh 5-month lows. I don't want to be super bearish. You know what I mean? It sucks to be really trying to find shorts in a market that's literally just going up. Now, there are a lot of people out there claiming that we're going to see a market crash in 2025. Then you click on their videos, their clicky baity stuff, and they're not calling for a crash. They're literally calling for a correction, potentially in a week's or 3. Yeah, no kidding, dude. You can get pullbacks in a bull market, just like you get pullbacks in a bear market. No market goes straight in one direction. It's what to do when you get the pullback is what puts people on the right side or the wrong side of the market. Fartcoin looks bearish, and we have broken down. This is a legit breakdown of the trend. I don't know why TradingView keeps moving my lines. This is a breakdown, and it does look like people are trying to short it, looking for that breakdown continuation. And that is the trade to make. As long as you're below the June open, as long as you're below the July volume weighted average price, I do believe that you should be looking for downside targets. But I don't know how far down you should be looking for those targets. You're still bullish on the year. All right. So I'm not looking for a huge breakdown here. I'm not even really looking for a breakdown. I'm actually just wanting to react to price. If you want to be short, clearly the best level to look for your shorts on Fartcoin is going to be the June open. As you can see, every time we've tested that so far, since we've broken down, you can see this acted as support here, support. Every time we've broken down through here, you can see it was support. There's the breakdown. Now it's doing the opposite. Resistance. So that is a key level to watch for short side entries if you want to be short. Stop loss is going to be hard to do. It's going to be hard to do because you got wicks all the way back up to the July open almost. So, I mean, you're just going to have to pick one, right? Now, if you don't believe this breakdown is a legit breakdown, if you're on the other side of the market, because let me be clear, there are people on the other side of this thing. There are people that think that this is a buying opportunity. If you are one of those people, then you should be looking to be a buyer as long as it's holding intraday VWAP as support. So literally, you're looking to be a buyer pretty soon, right? Your stop loss is also going to be difficult. Fartcoin is up 0.5% on the day, but let me be really, really clear here. This thing does look weak, very weak. You can see here on the 8-hour time frame on the RSI, you are testing the super bearish momentum level of 40. On the 4-hour, you're testing that from under price. So it does look like it's looking for a big breakdown here. Potential oversold reading coming on Fartcoin here today, unless it breaks back out to the upside. Like I said, Hypecoin is giving us a false breakdown signal today. Obviously, I don't want to be a buyer of this, right? I definitely don't want to be a buyer of this. However, if it pulls down and rejects to go lower than the weekly open, I could be a buyer. Today is Wednesday, so we could be in the midst right now of putting in the Wednesday range expansion. So that means you could have your weekly lows right now. I don't know how big of an expansion to the upside or to the downside you will get from this point, but I mean, it's pretty much midweek. So if you're looking for the rest of the week to give you that expansion, you need to be positioning yourself. The only trade to take right now is a short, and it doesn't look like a short. It doesn't look like a short to me because your VIX is on fresh lows. However, with that being said, if you are looking to buy puts on the S&P 500, you can do that. There's a lot of ways, right? You can straight sell spot price. You can buy puts on the SPY. You can buy puts on the SPX. You can buy puts on the ES or puts on the MES. Your choice. You can trade the spot price of the ES and MES as well. So I wouldn't necessarily be looking to buy puts out of the money on the SPX because they are very expensive. If you are wanting to protect any downside risk by buying out of the money puts on the SPY, how would you go about doing that? In a semi-cheap way. They are still expensive because your VIX is still above 15. It's making fresh 5-month lows right now, but it's still above $15. The puts start to lose their value once you get under 15. So they're cheaper than they have been for the last 5 months, but still expensive. All right? This isn't normal levels of volatility. Normal levels of volatility pre-COVID are like anywhere between 10.50 and 12. All right? 10.50 and under 12. That's normal levels of volatility. Down in here. We haven't seen normal levels of volatility, really. Not since the Wu flu, right? Not since the pandemic. We got down there briefly back in July of 2024, right before we had the yen carry trade unwind fears, and it spiked hard. So if you're looking to buy puts, you should give it a few more days, right? You don't need to be buying puts today. I'm just pointing out that you're making fresh 5-month lows. There is a gap down here to fill, a small gap. If we could get down there, then I would start putting on those puts myself, right? So for the guys saying that we're bullish, but we're not breaking out with any kind of gusto or any kind of momentum, I would say that's not true, because since we've broken down out of the all-time high, you've not retested it yet. You have not retested it yet. This is bullish momentum. You are making higher daily highs, right? That's not bearish. That's the opposite of bearish. Now, for the last 3 or 4 days here, we've been trading in a range in the S&P that are on the futures. That's normal. When you have a lowering VIX environment, your daily ranges get smaller. So I don't know why people are looking for 50-point, 60 and 80-point candles on a daily range. When you're bullish, you don't get that. If you go back in time and look pre-breakdown on almost everything, the daily ranges are so very tiny. Look at these candles in here. So small. That's normal bullish behavior. Very small candles. This is normal stuff. Very normal. All right? Everything is very normal. Everything is structured bullish. Bitcoin is making fresh daily highs as we speak. Bitcoin did a breakdown, and now it's back above the trend line. It's closed dailies under and above at this point. At this point, the only thing that you should be looking to short, in my opinion, would be Tesla. And that's because it's failing to get back up into that range. Tesla is currently testing the intraday VWAP. So if Tesla is going to break down, well, I don't know how I'd go about doing this. Maybe the midnight candle? Let's see here. It looks like that's what Thinkorswim does. Actually, Thinkorswim puts the fresh daily VWAP at 1 a.m. So let's do that. Ooh, there ain't a 1 a.m. candle here. Okay, we'll do that. We'll put the VWAP on the very first candle of the brown range, the pre-market. So you can see Tesla it broke above the trend line. We said as long as it's trading above the trend line, you have a potential to go fill this gap, right? Unless you stay under midpoint of the gap. That's what I've been saying since we broke down here, to be careful and look for it to test 307 if it can trade above this ascending trend line. We didn't do that yesterday. We got to 30, what is that high there? 304, and traded sideways and then broke down again right before the close of the market. So this is looking like more and more people are diving onto this thing short, or more and more people are selling Tesla. They're selling their shares. They're seeing this as a breakdown out of a bigger pattern here. This is a very big triangle, so there could still be way up until earnings to fill this thing in. But we do have the breakdown currently happening. So there is a potential to buy cheap Tesla puts. The breakdown on this would be around $100. So let's just say midpoint of that would put us where? $250, as you're trading right at around $300 right now. So $250. Look at the 250 strikes. Now this isn't going, I don't look for this to happen in a month. So maybe go out 2 months. Let's go over to the options chain here before we open. Take a look. Today's stream is not going to be as long. I have several errands I must run today. I hate errands. It sucks. I would much rather trade, but I gotta do it. I gotta go pick up a grill at my other property. So here we go. Looking over here. What we got? We want 2 months. So we're in July. We're going to go out to August, September. And we want to look for those 250 strikes. Oh, this is SPY. Sorry. Where are you, buddy? Get with it. September. It looks like the cheapest you're going to be able to buy Tesla puts is around $1,000. So I wouldn't recommend trading Tesla if you can't afford to lose $1,000, right? I wouldn't go much further than that, and I wouldn't go much lower than that. But of course, people are going to be looking to buy those under $100 puts on Tesla. I mean, that's 155, guys. I'm not saying you're going to 155. I'm saying you could get a potential $100 move out of this breakdown of this pattern. So one could just day trade it today and just buy puts at the bell, or wait for a little bit, see if it wants to go back up and test this again. It's your call. Your call. But it does look like it's breaking down. The S&P is bullish. The VIX is bearish. The VIX is making fresh lows. So I hate shorting things when the overall market is bullish. I just do. However, this is currently a breakdown. You could give it another day or two to see what happens, would be the actual smart thing to do. Just give it a few days. Let this pattern play out. Will you miss a big downside move if you get it? Yeah, you'll miss the first downside move. But if this pattern's going to break down, you're going to see more downside, right? We're looking at a large triangle breakdown. So we would be looking for something like this. Right? That's a big move. So who cares if you miss from 303 to 293 when you could still potentially catch 293 down to 260? You see what I'm saying? You just have to manage your risk, guys. And looking for shorts when the overall market is bullish isn't the best trade to make. Here's your IWM rejecting. So what I would do on the IWM today is, if we get down as low as yesterday's close and start to find intraday support, I would probably buy 222 strike calls if it acts as support down here. So give it a few minutes after the open to make that run. Now going back over to Fart Coin and the Hype Coin. So the Hype Coin is not breaking down here. It is under the July open. As long as it is under that, I don't mind holding a short. Fart Coin is already basically made its move. I guess one could potentially short Fart Coin at around 1.06, as long as you're not making higher 5-minute closes. Because if you are making higher 5-minute closes than this, then what? Then there's a potential to run this double top that you currently have on the daily range. This is your daily high over here, not this. Not this. So you can hold a short with dynamic risk management. Go in with the initial position with a small position size. This way, if you get a spike above the price you're watching, you can exit without taking a full 1 or 2% loss. You can take like a 0.5 or a 0.25% loss. And then if you get a breakdown below today's low on any pullback into the 2024 yearly opening range, you can add to your short position because you're targeting this low down here. So your entry would be on a retest of this as long as it doesn't close above it. Right? So you take the short and you'd be looking to add to the position here. Right? And this would be your target. Then you would take profits. That's how you trade with dynamic risk management. It doesn't give you those beautiful entries. Oh, I'm trying to delete something that I drew on the chart with the chart drawing tool. But yeah, that's how I'd play that. Right? That's how I'd play Fart to the downside. This one does look like it's weak. So if Bitcoin does fail on the breakout today and rolls over all day, then your farts and your hypes should be bearish. Your hype is up 1.5% today. So this is my favorite one for the short if Bitcoin breaks down. But this one has also given us a technical signal of a potential buy. It's a mixed day. It's a mixed bag. This is what we get inside of choppy markets. As your job, like I said yesterday in the live stream as a risk manager, is to understand when you are in a choppy market environment and to risk less. It's your money. You have to protect it. So small position sizes because we're not getting continuation. Yesterday should have been a downside continuation day. Instead, it closed up on the day. And today we're trading back above the freaking July VWAP. This is a mixed signal. This is not clear. This is clear. This is not. This is chop. So I did take the short when we retested the July. So I am already holding a short of here on the hype coin. I am yet to enter the fart. I'm looking for that short. It doesn't look like I'm going to get it because I never chase price. So I'm okay with just holding the hype for now. I don't know that the hype short is going to work, by the way. Here's what you got on the 4 hour. It does not look like a short, guys. This is a breakout candle. If this was going to be a bull trap, we would have wanted to see the very next candle take out the lows. You did not. You did not do that. To me, this looks like it's looking to go up. You've basically already taken out anybody that shorted it yesterday. Anybody that got short yesterday at daily supply has been stopped out. All right? This isn't a short signal. This is a hammer candle to the upside. This is a reversal candle. We look for the shorts to continue when this candle closes where? Under. Right? That's the short signal. It can be a hammer candle, but we want it to close lower than this day. Right now, you're currently trading above the midpoint of this candle. So if this candle today closes above this candle's midpoint, this whole formation is going to be called a morning star reversal. So it's a very mixed signal. I apologize for that. I wish it was clear. I like trending markets. Just so much easier to make money when your markets are trending. Trending. We started a trend this week. We made a lower low here and then another lower low. So this was the very beginning of a trending range. It's not now. It's not now. We have to be careful as long as we're trading above the midpoint of this candle. We got to go to the downside. Boom. Boom. So this is a legit short side entry here. Wait, no, this is the midpoint. Sorry, that's the 618. Never mind. No, I wouldn't chase that either. So it has to trade under this in order for any downside continuation to happen. That's the midpoint of that breakdown candle's range. So if it wasn't a false breakdown, price should have no trouble staying heavy under 39.17. Your advanced decline line NQ is freaking ripping faces, guys. Ripping faces. Here's your NQ. That's a 15-minute candle. That baby is erect. This breakout will probably be big. Erect. Very tough to short markets when that stuff is going on. What's Tesla doing now? Surprise, surprise, it's not breaking down. This could still be a bear trap, guys. We have to be careful. You got to be able to be patient in this business. If you can't be patient, If you find yourself taking multiple injuries and getting stopped out, you are the one that I'm talking to. You need to learn how to put that in check. You cannot be afraid to miss a move. You can't be afraid to miss a move. You have to be able to watch price go in the direction you thought it was going to go, and it shouldn't bother you. It bothers everybody. It even bothers me to an extent, right? It's going to bother you forever, but you should not ever be willing to chase price. Ever. So if our trade is going to work, then we will have an opportunity to get into it. What is the gold doing today? We got our breakdown on gold, so have we got the breakdown down? Not yet. We can't take the short on gold just yet. It's looking good for the breakdown, but it isn't the trade. It isn't a trade yet. I know if you're looking at this, you're thinking to yourself, this guy is so dumb. That's not even attached to the highs. It is attached to the highs. It's attached to the 4-hour highs. All right. There is your overall pattern. That's what we're looking at. This is what we're looking for. If we break down this pattern, gives us a potential downside target. Of 277. And those puts are cheap. So we could go out on GLD. What, 2 months? If our breakdown is 278, we don't want to go all the way there. So let's look at the 285s. The 285, 72 days out. $140. $143 at risk. If and when you get a breakdown, a retest, and a failure, then you can put the position on. And that position will be a 2-month trade, a 72-day trade. It's not a scalp. If you're looking for a downside scalp on GLD today, then clearly you do not want to see, to be honest with you, if it's going to remain weak, I wouldn't want to see it go any higher than it is now. But I definitely would not want to see a 4-hour candle closure back above 304.23. Oop. We can get rid of the fib now because we're under the midpoint of last week's range. This is last week's range. As long as we're under the midpoint of last week's range, then the sellers have control. They might not have control here, but they have control as long as it's under here. Right? So we can look for those shorts up here for the scalp or down here. But that would be just a quick in out, right? You're only looking for a couple cents move here. I'm waiting for the bigger breakdown myself, so that way I can just buy it and forget about it, right? Kind of like what we did on Pepsi. We just bought it and forgot about it and we're in the money. Kind of like what we did on the other one, the Intel trade. I don't even remember when we bought this, but we took the Intel trade live. Somewhere in here. We're in good shape on that trade now, right? So sitting in trades longer is good. I know people like the scalp and I know they like the quick money, but the longer trades make more money. When they work, they make a lot more dough. Dough, ray, me. And that's what we're after. We're after that cheddar. That cheese. Yeah. So boom, looking bullish. Bitcoin failing here after a liquidation run. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like this type of price action. Very choppy, very annoying. See, here's something to look at here. This entire run up on Bitcoin is showing negative volume delta on the cumulative volume delta indicator on the 30-second, on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and 30-minute candle. Bearish, not bullish. So if it does get the breakout, it should be able to run, right? This looks weak, and volume delta is telling us that this is not as strong as people think it is. So be careful if you're buying Bitcoin breakouts. It's a very mixed signal. I hold Bitcoin on cold storage, but I also trade it. I trade the futures for, intra-week gains. It's been a difficult trade. Been a very difficult trade here. There's our line chart. It's pegged from the closes, not the highs. It's the line chart trend line. Because a lot of your bigger investors, they look at a line chart. They don't bother themselves with candlesticks. Some big guys do, but a lot of your real big money men, they're looking at line charts. So this breakdown here, this breakout and failure formation that we got, we should have saw downside continuation from that. Let me make this line thicker. Give me 1 second here. There we go. That's better. That's better. So you didn't get your downside continuation when you broke back into the range here. In fact, you traded back up, came back in, retested the top side of it from above, and you bounced. This is looking more bullish than bearish on the near term. Right? But cumulative volume delta is saying, hold up a minute, this ain't that strong. What's the VIX doing now? VIX is still making fresh lows. Still making fresh lows. ES is looking freaking intense. It's a pretty good looking hourly candle here. Boom. That's your Monday open. So you're a bullish on the week as of right now. Bears are looking for this level to fail. That's what they're looking for. They want to see this level fail. Clearly there's a gap fill at 62.71. So maybe that's a better place to look for failure. If you're bearish, the Bitcoin 30-minute chart is not showing us bearish. It's not showing us a bearish trade here. Not yet. We need to close under here. We need this candle to give us one of these. And then we need to see one of these. And then we want to see one of these. All right. That's what you'd be looking for on a bearish trade. You're not getting that right now. Right now, you're getting a support test and hold above the weekly open. Looks bullish. Not bearish. We did liquidate those highs. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Still a ton of stuff to liquidate up there. A lot of liquidity above us, and the liquidity below us is thinner. This is a thin zone of liquidity. Thin liquidity. This is thick liquidity. So this is probably the near-term target. It's not a good trade to buy highs, though. Let's go look at Fartcoin as it's back down. So this looks more weak than Bitcoin does. So if you must short this one. You got your close above, but you're instantly rejected. So that was your short side entry. I missed it. Grr. That sucks, man. Hopefully you guys were watching the chart and caught that. That is where we said to look for your short. Then you can wait for later on in the day and look to add on any pullbacks if you get the breakdown. It'll bring your cost basis lower. So it will be easier for price to get back above your entry if you do it that way. But at the same time, if this is going to break down, if you are going to see downside continuation, then that shouldn't happen, is what I'm trying to say. That shouldn't happen. If you're going to stay choppy and range bound, that will happen. So it might be best just to enter with the small position and leave the small position alone. Because with Fartcoin, if you get 3 or 4, 5 to 8% down days, that small position is going to be up huge. What do we got on the Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia's? Well, Microsoft is up fresh all-time highs, 504.95. Nvidia just set a fresh all-time high, 164.42. Apple is up on the day. All three tech companies are bullish and up big. Well, not up big, but they're up. And up is not something you want to short. Up big, up big. Those things are up so big, they almost look like they're halted. They're not halted, but Tesla's still struggling at the open of the day. That's not a bearish signal. But it is looking weaker. But remember, this is what we saw here the other day, right? We saw a lot of this at the open. It looked weak. We failed here, and then it started to roll over. And it wasn't until you made a fresh low of day that you got that big spike. And then it just chopped back and forth the rest of the day. So if it did something similar to that, right here's your current low of day. So if you take that out and reject back up above the open, you're probably not looking for downside continuation today. If we reject the open and roll over, then we could look for that 293 short scalp. So we're making fresh lows on the cumulative volume delta on the 30-second. Not on the 1 minute. It's still bearish across all time frames. It's funny because earlier in the day this was bullish. Hype is starting to roll over, but this is where it can wiggle. This is where it can reject and go back to the upside. The bulls are in control of price action today, but the bears, it looks like the bears are in control of the volume. Yeah, cumulative volume delta says that this is still a short on hype, so I'm gonna hold it, see what happens with it. I wish that would have happened once we went live. I guess you could have shorted the July open because I went live at 9:15. You got to retest the July open at 9:30, that right at the open. So that would have been the short trade. That would have been your short side entry. The trade talk entry. Can you only see stock options pricing after the open? Yes. I cannot see SPX bid and ask on my broker at the moment. Yes, you will not get bid and ask prices before the open. You are correct. The market is not open, therefore the bid and ask is not trading. Where can you short stocks? I haven't tried that. You can short stocks on any brokerage account. Any US brokerage account. You just gotta have any US brokerage account. You just gotta have money on the account, and then you can short stocks. You can buy options, you can short stocks with options even if you have a small account. That's what most small account people do when it comes to stocks. They buy way out of the money puts and calls trying to grow their account. And most fail at that because most aren't looking for the correct targets and things like this. They're not looking for the correct trades to take. They're basically just gambling. They're just throwing money out there, throwing money up against the wall, hoping it sticks. Right? That's what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, there's a myriad of different ways to short stocks. Let me see something real quick. Let me see if I can short the SPY on my small account, because for some reason I'm thinking the pattern day trading rule doesn't allow you to short stocks. Let me sell one. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, what you're going to run into is you're going to run into margin constraints if you have a small account, right? You won't have enough suitable margin to take a short on a high price stock. So you're going to need a larger account in order to short stock, like the spot price of stock. But if you want to take a short, if they have liquid options, then you can just simply buy a put. That is a short. It gives you a control of short 100 shares each contract. Can you look at ETH today? There was news of Bitcoin miners switching to ETH yesterday. Today it's pumping. Bitcoin miners switching to ETH. Why would they do that? Why would a Bitcoin miner want to stop mining Bitcoin? I'm looking at the news. She said it was yesterday. Yeah, I'm not seeing that headline, but maybe they didn't write the headline up like that. Maybe you've seen something different. But if it isn't broad news, if everybody can't see it, then I wouldn't worry about it. If it's just one account posting it, make sure you verify that the news is actually true. I can't see any macro reason why people that are set up to mine Bitcoin would switch to ETH. But I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't see why. It doesn't, I mean, it does look like it is breaking out. So it is currently stronger than Bitcoin. Right? It's been stronger than Bitcoin for a few weeks now. 3 to be exact. That's why you're seeing Ethereum rip, because it's been stronger than Bitcoin. But I would argue if Bitcoin breaks out to the upside, you would probably see this roll over. I would assume Bitcoin would be stronger because it hasn't really been able to sustain any significant breakouts above all-time highs. If it really got going, I think Bitcoin would rip hard, really, really hard, because so many people are short, right? I think you could see a huge move on Bitcoin, a lot bigger than what people are thinking. Because a lot of people are assuming, I mean, you can see it on the chart, you are seeing less returns. As Bitcoin gets more and more liquidity, the returns become smaller and smaller. You can see that on the log chart. So it is, the gains are getting smaller. For sure. You can see it in the last time you had a good breakout here. It just didn't really get anything going, and then it rolled over. Then we broke out again and didn't get anything going, and now we're sideways again. So, I mean, the breakout could be big. Yeah, you could see 168 at least if you got upside momentum. From the yearly open, that would give us an 83% return on the year. Not bad, right? It wouldn't be as big as other years. So here is my chart that I have on that. So we seen 2023 and 2024. Here you go. So we just want 2023 and 2024. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So 2023, we saw 154% return on Bitcoin for the year. And then for the year 2024, we saw a 111% return on Bitcoin. Both of those years, we seen liquidity on the chop, M2 money supply and global liquidity. Both of those indicators were kind of like sideways. You had up spurts and down spurts for both 2023 and 2024. So far in 2025, M2 supply and global liquidity have been on the incline. They have been rising. They've been going straight up. So if global liquidity and M2 money supply are going to help Bitcoin break out, then we could expect Bitcoin to see at least 50% on the year, right? So on this chart, I have your price targets. If you get a 50% return for 2025 on Bitcoin, you would have a price target of $140,000. If we were to see a 100% return for the year 2025, you would see a price target of $186,000 on Bitcoin. And like I said, both the M2, I don't remember which chart I had those on, both the M2 and global liquidity Yeah, I don't know. There's global M2. Oh, we're seeing a pullback here in global M2. But anyway, let's go to the monthly chart here. Let me see if I can do this. So 2023, Alt V. 24, Alt V. 25. All right. You can see global liquidity didn't really do much in 2023, right? It just kind of stayed sideways all year. And you did get a little rise there in 24. Well, both 2023 and 2024 on Bitcoin were both very bullish years. So if this is going to propel Bitcoin on a breakout higher, since we've seen a much bigger move on M2, we should see a bigger move on Bitcoin if M2 or global liquidity actually does help Bitcoin. I don't know that it does. I'm not saying that it does. I'm saying if it does. A lot of macro investors out there seem to think that it does. So if they are correct, then there's no reason at all you couldn't see a 100% return on Bitcoin based on that metric. But we're in H2 for 2025. This is the second half. So you've got literally 6 months left. So it needs to start getting a move on. You're in Q3. We just opened Q3. So Bitcoin, if it's going to go, it really kind of sort of needs to start getting ready. And a lot of people were expecting it to go this month because we've seen a lot of really generous moves in July in the risk markets. Right? In July. So if risk markets and everything's going to continue to be bullish, then they really should start getting a move on pretty soon. But here's the thing. We just saw the breakout occur. On NASDAQ, it was June 26th when we got the breakout above the all-time high. June 26th. Right here is when you got your breakout. That's your all-time high. There's your breakout. And then you got upside continuation from the breakout. So July is proving to be, bullish so far. So we should see Bitcoin break out and take off to the upside in July. This is the time right here where either today shorts are going to be wrong or they're going to be right. You're testing the intraday VWAP. It's a pretty good reaction thus far. Pretty good reaction. We're not seeing downside continuation on the hypester. It does make sense to see a little bit of wiggling here though, right? There's your fresh low of day on the fart coin. That's Tuesday's low. 1050. Yeah, okay. So you do have a fresh low of day on fart coin, but this is the level it's got to break down through right here. Got to break down through that to see that downside continuation. And then when it gets under July's low, it's going to be very important for us. We want to see, does it get downside continuation from there? Then the next place to look for potential support will be 93 cents, as that's your yearly opening range. But if you get here and then reject back into the range, that's going to be a bullish signal. Fresh month low liquidation, break But when you liquidate a fresh monthly low and then break back in the opposite direction, you kind of want to be bullish in that scenario. That's what we've seen in June on Bitcoin. We made a fresh monthly low in June and boom, up it went. And here's the June open on the fart coin. So we kind of got, see, for fart coin, when it made a fresh June low, it was a little bit harder to read because it took 24 hours before it finally started to trade away from this level here. Right? There's 3 8-hour candles there. That's 24 hours where you were kind of trading under the June low. And then you broke out to the upside here, tested the yearly opening range as resistance, rolled over, retested June's low, June's old low, this low, because this obviously is now the low, but it acted as support and up it went. This was a buying opportunity. So if we do something similar to that, then yeah, but this looks like downside continuation. This is situated and looks, the structure looks bearish. Looks bearish. All right, I'm shorting Pingu today. Let's go look at Pingu. It's up. This is a bullish engulfing candle at support. All right. That's a bullish engulfing at support. And you're currently trading above the intraday VWAP. This is actually more of a bullish signal than a bearish signal. However, is that the weekly fib? It is. Cool. So you're under the 50 of last week's range. As long as you're under that, you can short it. I don't know if I would. This is kind of a bullish signal. However, the next 8-hour candle could be a bearish engulfing candle, right? We've seen that before. You could take out the high and then reverse hard, but I mean, on the very near term, I don't remember if this was bullish or bearish. It's bullish. It's not bearish. You're trading above July's open. Your daily time frame has bullish momentum still. You're still well above the 50 here. You're still holding bullish momentum on the 8-hour chart. I don't know that you should be looking for a short on this. But I don't know that it won't work either. That's the beauty of the markets. We can't see into the future. We don't know what price will do. We can only see what it has done and then make a trading plan for what it has done. Your bearishness failed here. Like your bearishness was over there. It held as support. That is a flawless support test. And hold. Now, if it does work here, you will have a lower high, to be fair. Because you bounced off support here, and you got this big of a run. Then it rejected again, held support, and you're getting another bullish run. And clearly, people are buying 0.0145. But I can see where resistance is also holding for now. It just doesn't look like a good short. I don't like to see bearish momentum break off like this. This is what I want to see. Remember, when you get a bearish move, it typically moves further and faster based on panic selling. It's panic selling that causes the markets to roll over and crash. It isn't short sellers that's causing that. It's when you literally have people that own Pingu, they own it, they sell it. That is what causes the market to go down. You're not seeing that. Like, you're not seeing that panic selling. You're just seeing normal volatility. Normal volatility. It could work out for you. I hope it does. I hope you make $1 million on it. I really do. I want you guys to make money. So good luck with that. I don't love the short, but like I said, I don't love the hype short either, because it's right now acting like a breakdown reversal. Like, it's failing to break down. It could break down today, because like I said, I can't see into the future, so it could break down. But as long as it's holding the daily open, that's going to be very, very threatening to anybody that is short. It's going to be threatening, because this is a bullish reversal signal. So, and you're above the VWAP here. So people could be stepping up to buy this today. That's what I mean. Like, I want to see, when I get my breakdown like this, I don't mind to see a retest like we got, but I want to see that retest fail. I want to see the sellers show back up. Like, the people that I want to see other people start to get afraid and start to get out of their positions as well. Not seeing that. I'm actually seeing a failure. It's not a failure, though, until it closes today above the 50. If it does that, you will have a full-on bullish reversal signal. That doesn't mean that you will see a bullish move after, but we will have a bullish reversal on the chart. That will bring in more buyers. People will look at that and they'll clearly see this is a failed breakdown. I don't want to be short this. I want to buy this. The downside, that's when we want to see that continuation. This type of stuff right here, that's what we want to see. You got the breakdown here, 1-2 days up. That's completely different as to what happened here. So that would have been support right there. That's support. You could even go further and say, all right, that's support. Here's the breakdown candle here. That's your breakdown candle. This candle would also break down above like a trend line here. So this is your breakdown from your bullish slope. Notice what happened the very next day. People sold weekly resistance. It was also a daily supply zone. They jumped in front of that, sold it. You got downside continuation. The close didn't look great, but it was still bearish. So everybody this day, they started hammering the shorts at this day's open. Boom. This is the breakdown. This is what we want to see when we get our breakdowns. Does this look like this? No, it's the opposite. So I'm not loving it. I would love to see it break down and keep going, but it's not looking great for that to play out. So if it finds support, I'm going to exit that short more than likely. I'm not going to let it turn back around and make this trade a losing trade. I promise you that. I will exit this position before I allow it to turn red against me. It isn't going to be a big win, clearly. But this doesn't look bearish, man. Not yet. I want to see this freaking candle right here close down in here. That would look more bearish. But even then, it wouldn't be a bearish day. It'd still be up on the day. So we kind of need to see this thing start to get its momentum here in a minute, or we're probably going to be wrong. Well, Fartcoin is doing the exact opposite. This is what I'm talking about here. We might want to be a buyer of this freaking thing. I know it sounds crazy, right? Because Fartcoin is a legit breakdown and you're getting downside continuation. So this still looks like a short. As long as you're not trading above yesterday's open on Fartcoin, I like it lower. However, I want to see that breakdown. I want to see that downside continuation. The market's open. We're almost an hour into the open here. So that's when you get the most amount of volume on the daily range. I want to see those sellers front run this thing. Why aren't they front running this thing? Why are we getting these big bullish candles? It still looks like a short. Here's the thing, it's only up 0.7%. We know Fartcoin can go up or down 5 to 10% and be average daily volatility. This might be a buy, guys. We should probably buy Fartcoin. It don't make sense, I know. It sucks, I know. I'm Trade Talk. I should know what the hell I'm talking about. I shouldn't be this confused. But we're not seeing downside continuation. I know what trending markets look like. This is not a trending market. So either position you take, whether you believe it's going down or whether you believe it's going up, please make sure that it's amount of money you can afford to lose. Please do not go all in on this, looking for the breakdown or looking for the breakout. Take a small position, because this thing can move so much that you could literally buy it or sell it, and within 4 or 5 days you can double the money that you invested in it. Right? But this isn't a short. It's not rolling over. Like, yeah, I guess it could be a liquidation, but this double top is still up here, so that's a threat. It's just choppy, guys. This is what we get in choppy markets, right? You don't get continuation in either direction. It just pisses trend traders off to the fullest extent. So you just have to be quicker to take profits if you are taking these trades. It's going to be a difficult trade either way. What do we got on the 2-hour close? Well, we got 35 minutes left on the 2-hour candle. 1 hour, 35 minutes. Sorry, we just opened this candle. Okay. That looks like a failure. But that 4 hour, if it closes above that, it's going to look good, right? Not bad. It's going to look really good. All right, show me what you got, sellers. This is resistance here. This is your highest closing 4 hour candle that's closest to near-term price. So if you're going to be resistance, you need to be resistance here. It does look like the bears are in control of the volume. But price is doing the exact opposite of what volume is telling us. Look at this. So literally from here and here, you got divergence. Price is going up and the volume's going down. That is bearish divergence. Or am I wrong? Is that bullish hit? Is that bullish divergence? Let's go ask Grok. It is divergence. Let's see what the AI says. That's bearish divergence. So hold up on the fart long, see what plays out here. I mean, it's a very, very fast divergence. You're looking at a 30-second chart. But here's the thing, right? The near term is going to help give you a better near-term direction. You're not seeing bearish divergence on the fart volume. In fact, you were seeing divergence when you made the low of day, guys. When you made the fresh daily low on Fartcoin, you were seeing the opposite divergence. Price was making lower lows, but cumulative volume delta was making higher highs. So for this little stretch, this might be that trade playing out now. So if the bulls are going to run Fartcoin, they need to prove it by maintaining support above that intraday VWAP. It's just a choppy day, very choppy markets, very difficult to trade. Are we seeing any trending markets? Bonk. I closed that freaking short out, and that's the one I should have held. I closed that out yesterday. I closed everything out yesterday because right as we were ending the live stream, we had a lot of bullish price action come into the marketplace. Right through here. So I just went ahead and took my money, right? I was up by almost $700. I was up over $800 at one point yesterday. And then this bullish reaction caused some of those trades. We didn't get the trade to work on Doge. Doge currently up on the day, right? So we didn't get that short working on Doge. So I closed out the bonk short, and that's the one I should have held because we did get downside continuation on that. Clearly still bullish momentum on the daily here, but 8 hour is saying hold up a minute. Don't look for the short on bonk just yet. 4 hour is saying hold up a minute. Don't look for the short just yet. 2 hours saying, yeah, it's a short. But I'm going to go with the higher time frame here and wait for a resistance test. If bonk is going to roll over, it should have no trouble rejecting April's highs. This is where it lost bullish momentum in the past. Past is not indicative of future results. Keep that in mind when I say in the past. Past price action is not indicative of future results. However, with that being said, we have seen the sellers defend April's highs in the past. So instead of shorting bonk on this continuation day, I should have been holding this and taking profits today. Hindsight is always 20/20. So if they can defend April's high moving forward, then I will short it then. So if we get something like this, then I can short it. All right. So we'll leave bonk alone for now. It's already made its move for the day anyways, right? Pepe looks to be rejecting here. So is fart and so is hype. Hype is red on the day now. So that bearish divergence on Bitcoin's playing out. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if we can throw on a short scalp on fart and catch this downside momentum here. If it gives me, give me a 4-hour resistance test again. It's really close to near-term price. So the open of this 4-hour candle. We did make a higher 5-minute close and rejected. But we can set a limit sell at 105. Small position. 105.09. Wait a minute. What is that price? 105.55. All right, 105.55 with a small position size on Fartcoin. Very small. See if it'll give us a retest. So that divergence might have played out there. It rejected the June open again. All right, so we're going to get a bounce here. Now we're going to see what's what. Come on up there and fill me. Come on up. Come on up. Oh, you bastard. Get up there. Come on up. We're pulling back on the ES, but and then NQ, but we're pulling back into the intraday VWAP. So we're going to see a little bit of a wiggle here. This could be intraday support. Apple breaking down, Tesla making fresh daily lows. So you would want to see those fresh daily lows hold as support or as resistance on Tesla for the breakdown. If you get that, you could scalp an intraday put on Tesla. If you're just scalping intraday puts, then basically you're just looking for a rejection. You're just going to look basically at the 2-day expiration. So we'll see if we can get filled on that. We didn't get filled on FART. It came just shy of filling my limit order on Fartcoin. Come on up, Tesla. I got Fartcoin on my other monitor, so I'm going to watch Tesla. I want to see the sellers show back up here at the lows. So many low breakdown scalpers get in on the fresh low candle and then they exit so fast. And that's what causes your little moves and your little pullbacks, right? But if people believe that this breakdown is legit and if the sellers are in control of Tesla, then we should see a downside continuation day. And if not, then you just get in and get out, right? At a certain amount of money risked. So you would put on that trade. It's going to cost you around $500 $600 to buy a 2-day out put, right? So if that put were to get down to like $4, you would want to exit. So you would be risking $200 to make $400. It's not even going to get back up to the low, the old low. Let me go back up here real fast and just look at these higher time frame levels. I mean, that's right into freaking support. Yeah, I'm not going to chase this. You can't short into support. If you want to be a breakdown trader, be my guest. I just can't do it, man. It's so close to support. But if it breaks down, you can see a pretty good sized move, right? There's no reason why you couldn't see a test of 287 today if it were to break down. Yeah, you could get 287 easily. If it breaks down. You're trading under 4-hour support on Fartcoin, which is good if you are short Fartcoin. We're going up here on Tesla. Let's see. So it looks like your 30-minute support zone is going to be here. Right? No close under that price. This is your first close under. So that's a little bit above the low. How much? Less than $1. What's ES doing? Yes, and NASDAQ still testing intraday res. Apple made fresh daily lows and pre-market lows. Nvidia just barely trading under the intraday VWAP, and Microsoft testing the intraday VWAP as support. Bitcoin is now bearish on the day. So Bitcoin is getting that move lower here. We want to see 296.89 hold. What is our target? So, what did I say? 287? I believe I said 287. Let's check it one more time here. Okay, so if you wanted to buy a $287 spot 50 strike put, you could, and that would be your risk. Notice I am 2 days out. So if you're not in the money by expiration, you will lose the entire $200. You could buy that, and if you get the breakdown today, you hit the target, then you could potentially sell it for $400. So that would be your risk, right? You would be risking $200 to potentially make $400. on the Tesla trade. I hate shorting a bull market, but let's do it. I probably won't get filled on that. Wait, it's going back up. We'll leave it and see. If we get a retest of that 1 minute open, it will get filled. That's a fresh 1 minute lower low. So your short scalpers will be jumping on this thing right now. We just got filled. So this is our target, 287.50, because that's a 287.50 strike. We would actually needed to get down to 287 to be in the money. So that's our target. That's for just the scalp. The longer term trade is a buy at 3 month out or a 2 month out expiration and look for the larger breakdown. Right? Because there's $100 of potential move here. And if this breakdown holds, there's still a threat of it retesting this gap. That's what we're worried about. That's the concern. Had we filled the midpoint of this gap down, we would not be concerned. It would be just a much easier trade to take. Doesn't mean it would work. It would just be easier. You would have that little bit of confirmation to kind of help yourself. But let's be fair, like $200 isn't going to make or break anybody, right? So it's an easy trade to take, but if this breakdown holds, the longer move is like $50 you could target. $50 out of the money. To target $50 out of the money would give us... I did this earlier in the stream. So 250 would be your downside target. And you would want to buy that, like I said, about 2 months to 3 months out in time. You've got earnings coming up, so you're going to have to wait for that probably. That's probably when you would get the breakdown or the move, right? If the move's going to happen, whichever direction it's going to go, it will more than likely go with earnings. And not today or tomorrow. Because you're going to need multiple days of rejection here to bring the real sellers in. 2 days ain't good enough for the real sellers. And when I'm talking about the real sellers, I'm talking about the people that are in profit. Like, you got to put yourself in the mind of an investor. Say you bought Tesla at 219, right? You're holding a good profit. You see this retail pattern here. You see that it has broken down, but it isn't giving you continuation yet. So you're still holding. You're not selling until what? Till you see one of these boys. You get one of these boys. Then your butt is probably exiting. Right? Because your profit target has been dwindled. And you're going to do the same thing that I do. You're not going to eat a loss. These are the people that I want to see start to sell. Because once these people start to sell, then we'll get our little big boy candle to the downside. However, if it breaks back up into this range, that's going to bring in buyers. They're going to see this as a clear breakdown rejection. So they're going to be looking for an upside move to stop all of these near-term shorts out. You see what I'm saying? This is why it's a difficult trade to take right now, today. The longer term trade, it hasn't set up yet. It hasn't forced anybody's hand yet. Has not forced anybody's hand yet. That's why you got to be patient on the longer term trades. For the scalps, you just got to, you see a level, you want to see that level hold. If it does, yay. If it doesn't, you get out, right? So this is where we want to see the downside continuation. It can go as high as 296.89, as that's your 30-minute support. It's a clear support zone. You have not been able to close a single 30-minute candle down below that price since this candle closed. So since this candle closed, it has held, lost. So we should not see it break back above that and close back above that if it's going to roll over. And if we do get some downside steam here, I hate shorting into support, and this is a high time frame level of support. I absolutely hate it. Right? Oh, sorry. This isn't the 2-week low, is it? Yeah, it's last 2 weeks low. Where did I see that level holding as support? 3-day support. Yeah, it's support. Here it was. It was on the 8-hour time frame. That's where we saw that support. Right there. So you traded under it, but you closed back above it. So this is the support. That's why getting short here to there isn't the best trade. But if we do break down below this level, then we should be able to get our legs stretched out to here. Today or tomorrow. If you're closing 30-minute candles back above that, or a close above doesn't mean that your trade won't work. It's a rule that you can abide by to basically say, well, it's not working now. And for our scalps, we typically want to see them start to work out pretty quickly, right? Otherwise, we're wrong. Here's fart. It's stretching its legs out. It did not fill me. It literally stopped just shy of filling me. But it's starting to go. Bitcoin, not really. I mean, it did get down under negative on the day, but it's just barely under negative. Just barely red on the day. Yesterday's midpoint still intact. This could still find support and rally for the rest of the day, guys. I'm not seeing the confirmation breakdown here. Apple is giving us a confirmation breakdown. Apple stretching its legs to the downside, because here was the, there was the low. You liquidated it, and now you're getting continuation. Apple just took out yesterday's low. Multi-day lows. 208.14. So we lost Thursday's close on Apple, and we're getting downside continuation on Wednesday. I think we're going to see a bigger down day on Apple. There goes fart. Looking good to the downside. I missed it. But it's helping my other short. The hype. Now we're at a big level of support. This is your July VWAP. We lose that, then I'll be good holding this thing short. I'll be fine with it. I like it as long as we're below this, right? Near the close today. As long as we're under 39.17 today at the close, then I will continue to hold the hype coin short. If we close today back above this, then you're going to have a potential reversal. Apple stretching out pretty good. We just made fresh daily lows. Microsoft breaking under the intraday VWAP. Risk markets getting downside continuation. We are almost at the zero line on the ADD. It's looking like a fresh all-time high breakout on the NASDAQ and failure. I think you would need to get under today's open on the NQ futures to see it start to stretch out to the downside. For anybody just arriving, we took a short scalp on Tesla. We're looking for a downside target today of 287.10. It's a pretty good size far away target. I get it. But we'll see, right? If the sellers win this battle, we should get it. But we're not bearish on the day yet on the overall market. We're still bullish. And Bitcoin on the CME futures is currently testing its July VWAP. Here's your July VWAP on Bitcoin, and this is on the CME futures. So you're currently testing potential support. This is why I'm saying it's not over for Bitcoin yet. It isn't over for Bitcoin bulls. They're still in this. This can still go either direction today. We're currently holding the hype coin short. We were looking to get in on a fart coin short once we rejected here. We just didn't get our fill. I am taking that limit sell off because I do not want to be filled if it comes back up here, especially after making a fresh low a day. Because I want to see rejection and I want to see continuation. This fart coin looks overall bearish, right? It broke down. It broke down outside of its upside trend line. So if the sellers are going to come back, then we should start seeing them come back soon. It's kind of a parabolic trend line. I get it. And the reason it's struggling to break down here is because of the 2024 yearly opening. July's low would be the near term target, like the next day or two would be the downside target on Fartcoin. All right, what we got here? What time is it? 11 o'clock. So we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. If you guys got questions, put them in the chat. Looks like Euro USD, but without stopping the shorts of yesterday. I haven't even looked at Euro USD today. Let's go look at it. Yeah, a lot of sideways. You're just not getting no breakdown potential. This thing is excruciatingly bullish on the daily and weekly time frames. So the bulls are defending. They're defending bullish momentum. They're defending the 60 on the RSI. So yeah, be careful looking for shorts on this. We don't know if the rate cuts are fully priced into this yet or not. Most accounts require 25 minimum short. Yeah, because $25,000 is your PDT rule, your pattern day trader rule. They want you to have at least $25,000 worth of margin in the account to be able to short stocks. But if you have less than $25,000, you can short by buying puts on stocks, like your options. But please be aware, options trading is a whole different ball game. You got expirations, and 80% of out of the money options expire worthless. So if you're not like a great trader, you should probably leave options alone until you fully comprehend the magnitude of it. Because you can be right on direction with options and still lose money. Do I see a trade on Ethereum? I mean, it's going to matter what Bitcoin does here, right? The same with all crypto markets right now. I do not see a short on Ethereum right now. Ethereum has bullish momentum on the daily time frame. It is still in a broader monthly range, right? You're still trading inside of June's range. So you are in a monthly chop zone. You're not seeing continuation until you start trading away from either June's high or low in the opposite direction, right? If you get above the high, you want to see it continue up. That's trend continuation. Right now, you're just choppy. However, you have bullish momentum on the weekly and bullish momentum on the daily. Now, with that being said, you are down on the year. So the overall yearly trend is negative, right? You're still down on the year. You could continue to stay down on the year. I agree with that sentiment. However, the shorts are not winning, at least since April low. Once you put in the April low, the bulls have been in control of this. This, in my opinion, would be a buy support. So you got to wait for your red days to test some form of support. In this red day, you would have been a buyer where? At the demand zone. Based on... Here, let me get rid of all these lines. That's the price, dummy. I don't even know what that is. So this would have been your level of buying here. And the reason you would have wanted to be a buyer here is because you were testing the 50 from above on the daily. So you would have been looking to be a buyer there. And since then, there's been no trade. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't see a short here because as of right now, I have a near-term bullish bias. My year bias would be bearish until you're above the yearly open. I'm bearish. I have a bearish bias on it. But the near-term bias, the monthly bias, weekly bias is bullish. It's up. You're making higher highs and higher lows. Since you put in the April low, you've been making higher highs and higher lows. So the very near-term trend is up. That can override the yearly trend. Remember, we know that markets don't trend. Most of the year, markets trade sideways. We know that. It's a proven statistic. I think you get a trending market like 25% of the time. The other 75% of the time, your market is sideways. So when we have the dailies closing above the 21 exponential and above the 50 on the RSI, we have to put near-term bias is to the upside. So we look to be a buyer on support, at support, on negative days, on red days, until you lose that 21. If you got to go down to the 2-hour time frame to justify a short, you shouldn't be looking for the short. Like, I could find a short, probably, yeah. Well, even on the freaking 2-hour, this thing is not bearish. You're not bearish on the 1 hour. You're not bearish on the 30-minute. Like, you do not have bearish momentum, even as low as the 30-minute time frame on this asset. So yeah, I mean, no, I don't see a short. This is a buy. This is a support buy. I don't like buying daily highs. You're not buying the daily high, but you're buying real close to the daily high. So I don't like buying it there. I would like buying on red days. Another way to do it, if you don't want to look at the RSI, you can pull up a 21 exponential moving average. And you can look to buy on red days when you're testing the 21 exponential. Or on this day right here would have been red, right? So when it traded down, when it was red on the day, you would have been a buyer there. That's demand. That's the 21. Because the near-term trend is up. So this was a bull trap. Because you closed the daily above the 21. So anybody that bought on this day here was stuck there. So anybody that bought there was stuck. So what you should have seen on this day for downside continuation is it should have stopped right here or here and then rolled back over again and then printed a bearish candle at the close. If the bears were in control, that's what would have happened. But instead what happened is after you put in this bull trap, you then put in this bear trap. And then after this, you put in a bullish engulfing. So this was your signal to no longer be looking for shorts. This candle told you, ooh, that was a trap after a trap. So you want to be a buyer. I do not want to be a seller on Ethereum. Not yet. Not until we get bearish momentum. There's no point. You're trying to fight the trend. You're trying to fight the people who have control of the asset. So no, I do not see a short on Ethereum. Like right now, there are only a few alts that I don't have a problem with shorting, and that might change after today, clearly. Like on the hype, I don't love the short on hype because it's in the middle right now of putting in a bearish reversal pattern. I mean, a bullish reversal pattern. It's in the middle of calling a false breakdown. Here's your 21 exponential moving average. You still have not closed the daily under that yet. So trying to get short up here today, that's actually going against my rule set. Even though I took the short, it's against my rules. That's why it's hard for me to take the short. It's so hard for me to short this when we're not even closing a single daily under it. I would love to see today close down here. Absolutely. I would absolutely love that, because then I'll think to myself, yeah, I'm probably right. This isn't going to be a false breakdown. We're actually going to see the bears show up here, and we're probably going to see a bigger run to the downside. But as long as it looks like this is not a bearish pattern. This is a bearish pattern. That's why fart is the short. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to make money, because it can always reverse, right? It can always, boom, give you one of those bitches. And if you get one of these bitches in the next 3 or 4 days, then what are you going to do on fart? You're going to be looking to buy 21 retests in this price zone if you get one of these big bullish candles. You'll be looking to buy red days at tests of that level or tests of the 21, because your bearish signal was a trap. So Fartcoin has lost its bullish momentum on the very near term. This is why we were talking about Fartcoin today. We wanted to see it break down out of its bull trend, and we want to see it roll over, and we want to see sell side momentum. We want price to prove to us our thesis. Our thesis is it's choppy. It's still trading inside of June's candle. It's still trading inside the monthly trend, but the yearly trend is up. But the very near term is down. These can really get you, like, when you're not trending, your exponentials are very difficult metrics to look at. So if it's going to start trending down, we want to catch the short on FART. We want to catch the short on Fartcoin. We did catch it up here. We sold 4-hour res. I'm no longer holding that short because we didn't get downside continuation yesterday. I was expecting to see that downside continuation today. So we were looking for this day. We did actually get downside continuation yesterday. It was just a very choppy range, right? We didn't get like one of these big boys. It was a very difficult trade yesterday. So today I wanted to see resistance hold and then get that downside expansion, the continuation, like the breakdown through the supports and all that stuff. It may still do that today, as there's a lot of sell side pressure on the asset. Different ball game here. You can short LPT USD. I think this one is down on the year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this one's down on the year. This one's down on the quarter and down on the month. You're still trading inside of May's range, so you're really not going to see any downside continuation potentially until you get below May's low. But that could be a downside target. So on LPT, you would be looking to do what? You'd be looking to sell resistance. The 21 exponential or the July open. That is your entry to the sell side on LPT, because it's bearish on the year and it's bearish on the near term. So if Bitcoin breaks down and causes the rest of the crypto market to become bearish, these bad boys are the ones that are going to lose the most because they're already weak. Get it? You're getting the exact opposite signal on Pendle. This is a bullish breakout here, guys. This is the opposite of bearish. And the same thing happened here. We got the breakdown, but it stayed choppy. So you're in a range. When you're in a range, trending trades don't work out as often. And when we're looking for continuation, we are looking for trend continuation. Jasmy is still a short. It's bearish on the year. It's bearish on the month. However, if it starts closing dailies above this 21 exponential, then you're going to what? You're going to get bullish momentum. So then looking for shorts will be dangerous. W, same scenario. You're bearish. You're not getting continuation. Here's your continuation candle. Hell, you've taken out the high. But with that being said, this is resistance. So you can, as long as you're closing dailies under here, look for shorts. Pepe. It's right now in the process of being a buy, not a sell. So where would you be a buyer on Pepe? There. You would be a buyer on Pepe at this price. If you get a daily close back under that price, then you might be wrong, right? That's how the strategy goes. Boom or bonk is still very bullish. That's why we're going to be very cautious on bonk. Very cautious. Remember, we hate losing money more than we like winning it. Once you train yourself to hate losing money more than you like winning it, you will get better at this game. Second, Bitcoin dominance is weak, so that's going to also put a bid under alts. So your strong alts, like Ethereum, like XRP, like Hype, you don't want to be shorting those. You got too many factors against the short. Penguin, it's working out today, so kudos. Or Pingu, not Penguin. Pingu, it's working out today. Kudos. I love to see people get short at resistance and it work out for them. But it's still bullish. It will be until your closing daily is under the 50. You're right now showing potential breakdown here on the 8-hour. So what you really need to see on Pingu is continuation. You need to see a breakdown. Otherwise, you're going to be still a little early on that short. This is also, why we're short Tesla. Right? Pressure is to the downside, not the upside. It could lose that pressure at any moment. At any moment, we could see this thing open and go boom, shakalaka. And if that did that, then we would be looking to be a buyer at support in this area on any retest. We would want to see it hold intraday. Just trade up and down through this area and just hold. And then close up here. Right? And then we'd be long from there. And then if we got our upside continuation on the next day, we'd be setting pretty. So use these tools to kind of help you decide what to look for when you're taking your trades. Try not to short assets that are strong, assets that are up, that are bullish. You want to do the opposite. You want to short the assets that are weak. You want to buy assets that are strong. Because like I've said so many times, Bitcoin is the ocean in this very big planet. Bitcoin is the ocean and altcoins are the boats. If the ocean is rising, the boats are going to rise with it. Not all of them, but the majority of them. And that would probably include the one that you are short. But if Bitcoin gets back under here, then you want to be short most alts, right? Fartcoin is starting to get that move lower here. So it really does suck because it's a good mover, but that's all right. We can look to catch it on the next one. The hype short is still not working out so great, right? It is working because I'm short from up here, but I would like to see it like really start to get that momentum to the downside. This thing is still up on the day. This thing's got to get all the way down here before it even gets negative on the day. It's got to get down here and start to go for me to continue to hold it. That would be helpful. So yeah, can I look at Aave? Absolutely. Whew. This looks okay. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Aave looks like it's reclaiming its... Aave's threatening to the upside. Aave is bullish. Yeah, Aave's been a buy ever since June the 28th. Aave's been a buy ever since here. So you could have been a buyer at demand, which you never got a retest of. Could have bought on this day here because you held this day's low. You never took this day's low out until the next day. No, you didn't even take it out. So, yep. I would have attempted to buy in this region, obviously, first. And then I would have gotten stopped out. But then on this day, when it opened, as soon as it put in that lower swing low and started to move back up away from the open, I would have been a buyer. But notice how difficult of a trade it was. Just 2 days later, that position would be getting threatened again. Choppy markets really suck for trend followers. It does. It really sucks. It's so much nicer when you can get in a short, boom, and then just hold it and watch it go down for like 6 days in a row. Boom, 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 boom. It's like, it just makes my nether regions squirm. I love it. Makes me tingle in all the right places. Yeah, it's very strong. I would be a buyer on this on red days at support. Your very, very near-term current place to look for support will be there. I can't be a buyer up here because last time you got up here, what happened? Because that's your yearly opening range. Now here's the thing. This will be the second time that you're testing this from underneath. So I can have a near-term bullish bias, but I got to wait for a support test and hold. But I don't have a short bias on it. I would not be looking to sell this asset. I would be looking to add to it if I owned it. I'd be looking to jump into a near-term scalp if I was looking for scalps. Our Tesla trade is not getting downside continuation. So we're going to have a decision to make on this. Right? Never short into support. That is the rule. Never short into support because it can hold. It is what it is. FOMC minutes out today too, according to TradingView Alert. Yeah, but the market isn't pricing anything in. I cannot imagine Jerome Powell cut interest rates today because there's not a press conference. If there was a press conference, then it would be more important. It'd be more valuable to the markets. It's still big news, right? It's still going to potentially have an effect on the markets today at 2. There's a 95% chance that nothing happens on the next FOMC meeting, which is the 30th of July. So what you're likely going to get today is going to be a whole bunch of nothing burger. But still, it is very important to keep that in mind if you are taking intraday opportunities today. Absolutely. That can cause Bitcoin to find support and go up today. Not because anything changes with the FOMC or with the meeting or the minutes, but we know that liquidity providers use high event risk to generate liquidity for big market participants. So you could absolutely see a reversal at that time. You could see a breakout at that time or a breakdown. Yep, be careful. Pendle is at major resistance, he says. That's Penguin. Pendle is at major resistance. What's major resistance? You understand this is a 2x standard deviation move to the upside today, right? You held support at last week's 50% retracement. You are threatening the weekly open. That would be resistance. Not there yet. It's got you would like, I would prefer saying potential resistance. You're still inside this week's range. You're still inside this week's range. So yeah, you could reject here. It's the weekly 21. So major resistance, I guess you're right. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, you are. Good call. But here's my thing. If this thing closes up here or better today, your near term is going to be a bullish indication, not a bearish one. On the very near term, you've lost your downside momentum here. Boom, boom. Right? In your face shorts. So maybe you're right in looking for a short today. Maybe. Did you liquidate this swing high? Yes. Okay. So literally, you're right. You're at the 50 on the weekly. Yes. Major resistance. Potentially. Major resistance. What has the market done today so far? Who's in control of order flow? The bulls are. So anybody shorting Pendle right now is shorting against the momentum, against the intraday or the near-term daily trend, which is breaking out to the upside currently. That means if you close above this 21 today, everybody's going to be looking to buy pullbacks tomorrow. So for your short to work and for you to be right longer term, like not just today, but going on into the end of the week, you would need a bearish engulfing candle today. Literally, that's what I would need to see to short Pendle tomorrow. I would not short it today. You can. It's your money, of course. And you may be right. I cannot see into the future. But as of right now, the bulls are clearly in control of this. And you're getting upside continuation also. You have shown no signs of reversal yet. Not even a small sign of reversal yet. You're trying to short very extreme momentum, my friend. Keep that in mind. We were short this yesterday. We got out of it. We got out of it. Why? Because our short wasn't working. Remember? I closed my short yesterday on this. What has it done since I closed my short? Boom. All right? Just keep all that information in your mind before putting risk on this yet. Please. You could be right. Once again, I hope you are. I hope I see you post the chart on Twitter and at me if you want, so I can see that massive gain you got. But I got news. You got balls. I'll just say that. You got balls. Jumping in front of that. That's balls. But yeah, it is. I would call that a massive potential resistance. I agree with you 100%. This is huge here. Very big. So either the bulls are going to win this, and if they do, oh, could you imagine what you see next week? Right? That's what you're up against right now. I would be very, very quick to exit that short if your price is trading above your entry. I mean, it's massively overbought here on the intraday for sure. Weekly res is a little bit higher. So, I mean, you could potentially wait for a retest of this before you look to throw that risk on, or you could throw it on right now and just throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. But you're going against momentum. I was wondering about on ETH long, actually. Yeah, any test of the 21 exponential, I would be looking to be a buyer on Ethereum. See, this looks like a great short because it's been so bullish and so momentous, and you've retraced a lot of last week's range. So if you're looking for weekly downside continuation as far as targets go, yeah, you could look for a retest of the open. But just please understand that you are currently fighting against bullish momentum. That's not what you want to short. You want to short things that have bearish momentum. Those are the trades that are most likely to succeed. Like if you had a yearbook picture of great trades, the most likely candidate to succeed, this one would not be in that yearbook. In my opinion, this would not be there. You're breaking out of a triangle as well. You're literally on the verge of breaking out here. The price is telling you, dude, this might be a long in the coming days. We don't know. Obviously, it could always get back up into this. It's still in a range, so it could always reject that range highs. So whenever you're in a range, it is best to short resistance and buy support. You're into the 50. And you did liquidate this swing high. So if the sellers show up, maybe they show up here. So maybe you're not going to get a full-on resistance level test. Maybe you're not looking to liquidate that weekly high. That's a weekly swing high pivot. So all you're liquidating today is a daily swing high pivot, not a weekly swing high pivot, just a daily swing high. It doesn't look great. I agree with you. The weekly looks like a short. But I would need to see today fail. I would need to see those sellers show up, and I need to see them show up today. Because you're currently breaking out of that structure. It could be a false breakout. Absolutely. It could be a false breakout. It's just got too much momentum for me to attempt that, to put that risk on. Does anybody else have any other questions? We're not getting any downside continuation on our Tesla short. And you're not getting any downside continuation on the fart short. Bitcoin is back to positive on the day. So you're not getting any downside continuation on Bitcoin yet. Bitcoin is currently testing intraday VWAP, the VWAP. It's testing that. So it could reject here. There's a ton of support under Bitcoin. You got your monthly VWAP. So this has been actually holding as support. It held as resistance here and the sellers lost. Boom. Up that went. And then it rejected up here. Sellers tried to get it again. They got a little move and then they lost again. Now you flip that. You have flipped that scenario. You see this? It's been flipped. Bears won. Nope, they lost. Okay. So they're going to wait to then jump on a short again and win right in here. Boom, we're under it. All right, so we're going to short it. Did we win? No, we lost. So now the bulls have to prove it. And now you're seeing support come in here. So the bias on Bitcoin is what? It's up, right? It's not down. It's currently up. You can't like you don't want to be looking for Bitcoin shorts until the bears are like showing you that they have it. They've attempted to show you that they had it a couple of times since the July candle opened. So far for the whole entire month of July, we've been open for 9 days. Out of those 9 days, out of these 9 days, the bears had control of it once, twice, 3 times. And all 3 times they failed. All 3 times the bears have failed. This is why you cannot have a bearish bias yet on Bitcoin. A birdie told me that it's going to break out to the upside. I don't know if that birdie's going to be right, but it told me it's going to. A birdie told me I should be a buyer at support. Maybe at today's low, I can be a buyer. If we make a fresh daily low, I can be a buyer on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin trades sideways all day today, this is what you can look for tonight when you get a brand new daily open. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're making or trading near today's lows, you will be watching for a rejection to occur under today's low, back up above your daily support. For the rest of the month. For the rest of the month. Because the bears are losing this battle. That's why I like some of these alts to the upside, like Fartcoin. Unfortunately, even though it's one that we can short, if Bitcoin does that July breakout to the upside, if we make fresh July highs, what else do we got up here? Well, we just liquidated this double top, so that's why you're seeing that struggle come in here. But guys, this is more of a bid than it is an ask. This looks like a rejection, and this is going to bring in that sell side liquidity. All those shorts are going to pile into this today. They're going to say this is a rejection. Look at this liquidity up here. That's going to get smoked if it doesn't roll over. Boom, and that's going to provide fuel to the upside. I don't like that it rejected the double top though. And that's a very big reaction. If this would have occurred and the daily 21 exponential moving average was up here, like that, if we had this on the daily, I would be selling this. I would be okay with shorting the weekly open because you're red on the week now. But this isn't what we got. It's actually down here. It actually looks like this. Right? Here's 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we go look at the daily chart, you'll see that. There are those 4 days. There's your 21. It's right there. So all day long, if you're short Bitcoin, you're going to have to sweat that position. You're going to have to sweat it because it just isn't structured for that to take place. So just be careful. Keep that in mind. Remember, do not let a green trade turn red. So if you are short Pendle, my friend, or Penguin, or whichever one we just looked at that was like breaking out of this. If you are shorting up here because of that resistance, once you get into position to make money, make your money. Take profits. All right? You can leave the little bit on. Leave a small piece on in case you're right. In case you get downside continuation. Then you will have a beautiful position to hold. But don't let it turn red. Don't let it turn against you. That is what you have control of. You have no control of what's going to happen with price. What you do have control of is exiting that trade before it becomes a losing trade. If it doesn't ever become a losing trade, then hold on to it, right? Hang on to it. You might be right. A lot of sell side orders were triggered up here. You could be right. Because when you stop shorts out, you trigger buys, not sells. So these sell side orders, all three of these volume nodes are mostly shorts and or profit takers. People that are taking profits. So if this gets momentum again, all these stops are going to get triggered. That's fresh liquidity that is setting above this high. Fresh liquidity. But if this is legit profit taking from these bids, that absolutely can cause price to roll back over. So I hope you're right. I hope it does hold for you if you're in that short. Bitcoin rejecting the weekly open, but that happened earlier. What do we got on the 4 hour? We're getting ready to see a close. We got 20 minutes on this close, and as of right now, it's a bearish engulfing. What do we got on Fartcoin? We got a bearish engulfing. This will look good for the second half of the day. Hopefully the shorts see this and they're like, all right, this thing's going to break down. Hopefully. What do we have on Hype? We have a bearish engulfing. It would be much better if it would close under that low. Much better. We have that now. In the next 19 minutes, this bitch could close as a bullish engulfing. If you don't think that this can't go up to here in 15 minutes. Woo! I got some oceanfront property to sell you in Arizona. This thing can absolutely close up here in the next 15 minutes. Then you will have a bullish engulfing. So a bearish engulfing would look much better for the shorts. That's if you get one. Jasmine's not an engulfing. W is an engulfing. It's not an engulfing. It's a trending candle, but I love the close. If W can close under here, then maybe what's the funding rate on W? Not bad. Yeah, W might be a short, but W don't have that much liquidity. Yeah, this is a sell at resistance. Daily res there on W. We already got the test. If you get another test of this, then this might be a short. I do like that. If that's the July, this is June's. So you're trading under June's volume weighted average price, and you're also trading under July's volume weighted average price. You're bearish on the daily as you're under the daily 21 exponential moving average. So W is one. It is weak, even though we're seeing strength in some of these others. However, this is a false breakdown. But I like the reaction we're getting today. I like the near-term reaction we're seeing here. I like this. So I might watch W for a short side entry here if we can get back to retesting that. Pepe, not a short yet. Bonk, definitely not a short yet. Circle, going to be a buy at support. So 177.69 will be a potential buying opportunity on Circle. Gold not breaking down. This is why we don't want to jump into the gold short until we get the breakdown. Tesla's got the breakdown, but not breaking down yet. So this might end up being a longer term triangle even. Nothing is set in stone yet. This gets back up into here. This trend line is going to change to there, isn't it? Yeah, it will. So we were looking for the breakdown. We got it. We're just not getting the continuation. If it stays like this sideways for a few more days, I like the breakdown. If it gets back up into here, then I don't. Longer term on that. As long as the midpoint of this breakout candle holds today, I'm going to keep hanging on to this long that we took 7 days ago. I don't know why it says that I took that 7 days ago. It does not seem like we bought that 7 days ago. The Pepsi trade, that's not Pepsi. It's holding, but can it hold? This is going to be a potential buying opportunity on Pepsi. I don't like that it's losing the momentum that it got. This is a pretty, you know what I mean? It's not a really great sign. Yeah, this 4-hour candle, not great on Pepsi. However, as long as it closes above 133.51, I'll still hold the long. If we start closing 4-hour candles under this, I'm going to exit that position because I'm not going to let it turn back to red. We bought it down here. We don't want to lose all of our profits. Hopefully the buyers come in here today. Hopefully the buyers are like jumping on this today. I want to see it today, as this is a pretty momentous breakdown here. Oh, I don't like to see this. But we'll see if it can hold. This is just a random line that I drew too, so it looks like they're defending our profit taking zone for some reason. There's really nothing there. Yeah, there's no reason for them to defend this zone. Let's see if it's the 618. That might be why. No. Yeah, I don't like this. It's the 786 of the monthly range expansion. They need to hold this. Needs to hold here. If they can hold it, I like it for another run higher. So longer term, if this green zone here, 133.50 can hold, then I like this. Right? That's what I like. If it can hold. I don't like that bearish momentum though. I don't like to see that. Because usually when things are super bullish, they just stay super bullish, right? Maybe this is stopping out all of the shorts. I mean, maybe this is giving shorts hope. That's like bullish copium though. We'll see what happens. O'Reilly's holding the support we said to watch, but we almost got a retest of it today. Not quite yet. And FXI set a bear trap, then a bull trap. So I would say this is probably going lower. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if it can break down. If it can break down, we'll short it. It's just not a trade just yet. Gotta break down. And then I like our odds. All right. So maybe tomorrow we'll be taking this one. And that's pretty much it, guys. Doge. The short didn't work. Maybe it works today. I mean, it's currently in the process of breaking above May's open. Looks like a longer term bear flag. So if it loses bullish, it's losing bullish momentum here. So if you can get a candle that looks like this on Doge to the downside, then we could do this. We could look for the retest for the short on Doge. But we got to wait for the breakdown first. And that's it. That's that. That's what we got. All right, it looks like a bear flag. This is a flagging formation, no doubt. Clearly. That's a bear flag. I guarantee it. If I pull up all chart patterns, it'll put that on there. Let's see if it does. All chart patterns. Where are you? There you are. Falling wedge. I don't see a bear flag. Oh, it doesn't have a bear flag on there. Look at the target they got for the triple bottom on Doge. Or that's the triangle. The triple bottom target's here at 38 cents. That's over 100% return. Got a very near-term bear flag on the chart. We'll see if it loses its bullish momentum or not. It is in the process of losing it. But the bulls are still in control of it for the very near term. And that's what I got. That's what we're going to be looking for. Can you look at MRBL high time frame and LTF? Yeah. MRBL. Marvell Technology. It's had a rough year, but that's all good. It's probably set its low in April. It did. There's your April lows. You've been bullish ever since. Nice expansion and breakout of May's range. I like this one for a potential long. Let me make sure. It's losing bullish momentum. I don't love that. Okay, so it's barely holding here. It's barely holding here. Your 21 is going to be right there. Today's close is going to be super important. This would be a buying opportunity, but I would put a stop under today's low because the momentum today is bearish. Boom, it's bearish. So, I mean, and this is what I wanted to see happen on Tesla. Give me that downside move, that breakdown. It just didn't happen. So if it loses 71.55, I don't love it because the daily will be structured as a, you've already closed 1-2 days under the 21. So I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that at all. This would be my line in the sand. If I bought this, I would have a stop under that low. And then the next place I could be a buyer, potentially 70.72. And that's only if that holds. Or just wait and see if you get a retest full on of the May high. You shouldn't need a retest full on of the May high because you've already retested it there. So this is your breakout. This is your retest. There you go. Boom. Boom. So this is a pullback. But yeah, I would want to see this area hold at the lowest. It's too dangerous buying it today because the bears have control of the daily momentum. So I would give it until tomorrow. See what it does tomorrow. See if you end up having bullish momentum tomorrow. If you do, then you could probably be a buyer, right? Then you could probably be a buyer. But right now, it's looking like it's losing that bullish momentum. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't love it. So if you get a lower 8-hour close, you got 5 minutes on this 8-hour close, man. It's going to look like downside continuation. Do you see that? Up, down, up, down, up, down. So you're starting to create a downtrend. So you would almost, in a sense, need to wait for the bulls to run it back above that. So just, I guess, as long as you can hold May's high and break back out over in this area. So you might not even be able to buy this until the end of July. That is if it ends up holding support and breaking back out. Right now, it's pulling back, and it's pulling back with bearish momentum. All right, we're going to have to wrap this up as I got stuff I got to do today. Thank you guys so much for being... Oh, wait, let me look at your last one. LTF. Oh, high time frame and low time frame. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're looking at right there. When this candle closes, you're going to have a new 8-hour close and a fresh 8-hour open. So whatever this 5-minute candle does will, if you close under 71.88, you've closed under with that 8-hour. It don't look great. So we may just see this sideways garbage until you get the minutes, maybe. At 2. The minutes will come out at 2, and then you'll see whatever happens will happen. I thought we usually look at current and previous month high time frame levels, not any months before, right? Yeah, we really only care about the month that we're in. So I'm not sure what you're saying there, Bravos. You thought we usually only look at current and previous month high time, not any months before. Okay. When you're analyzing the trend, you want to analyze the trend that the month you're in. If I'm looking at an old month, like a month that's 3 months ago, like June's lows or something like that, it's going to be for targets. Or it could be potential support. If you give me like for whatever I was looking at or talking about when it made you prompt that question, if you could like explain that to me, I will do my best to answer it. Okay, and you specifically said like on Doge. So let's just go to Doge monthly real quick. See if I can see what you're talking about here. Yeah. Like we only give a shit about July and June. You're trading inside of June's range. So what did I do to make you think that I was looking at these monthly candles over here? You're talking about the bear flag that I drew, right? Yeah, I'm not a pattern trader, bro. Not. Yeah, I'm not looking at that and no. You're right, I'm not. I'm just showing, because there's a lot of people that are pattern traders. There's a lot of pattern traders out there. Lots of them. I'm not one of them. No, I don't care about this bear flag. What I care about on Doge right now is this 21 exponential. As long as it's closing dailies above it. I just haven't put July's open on the chart. I got June's open up there. May's open isn't anything that I'm worried about or concerned with. Don't care about it. Price is currently trading there. So people are probably looking at it. Right? And you have not been able to close a single daily candle above May's open. So I would argue the fact that May's open is prompting a response here. I don't care about May's open. It's not going to influence my decisions either or. I could care less whether we close a daily above this level or not. This isn't what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on this. Right there. And this right here. That's above the 50. So we have to give respect to the bulls, to the upside. Until we get a breakdown. If you get that breakdown, then you're going to see a potential bigger move. Because you have this overall bear flag going on. So like if we get that bearish close, say it fails today here, and you get a candle that looks like that, well then we would be watching the 21 exponential for potential shorts moving on. Right? So yeah, I'm not focused on the May open. I really don't care about it. Other people are, but I'm not. I'm paying attention to what's actually taking place right now today in the month of July. It's clearly choppy. It's clearly range bound. You're still trading inside of your previous month's range. But this month broke down, right? This would have been monthly support. We do watch monthly support levels, even if it's 5 months ago. If it's the lowest closing monthly candle on the chart and price is not able to close another monthly under it, you have to respect that level until you get a monthly close under it. So this is a breakdown monthly candle for June. You broke down and closed below support. So if you're going to see downside continuation in the month of July, right, then we want to see resistance come into play. So you could arguably say, okay, I'm going to short it right now because I'm going to short it based on the fact that it's testing the 21 exponential on a monthly time frame. I don't care about that either. What I care most about is what is taking place in the last 3 days. The last 3 days is held support. That's a support test and hold. You tested that candle's midpoint, held. You got another lower low, but you closed up. And today you're seeing upside continuation. Don't really see reason to short this just yet. You could short it because you haven't been able to close a single daily above May's open. So you could short it based on that. But just understand that the last 3 days is telling you there's more pressure to the upside. Yeah, he's saying we marked May open on Doge. Got it. Yeah. Thought it was just marked July and June levels. That helps us. That helps us. We don't really care about previous months unless price is trading there, right? Just kind of use the momentum that you got on the near term. If you deleted even this candle's open here and you only focused on these two candles, then your short trade would have to be where? Right here. That's your short trade on Doge. As long as you're not closing dailies above it. So you could, in theory, take the short on Doge today on a 0.17 retest again if you get it. Maybe you don't get it. Maybe that's it and it's going to roll over. Maybe. But for the last 3 days, the order flow has been going higher. The last 3 days, order flow is bullish. So you got to be careful. Looking for the short. Maybe wait. Maybe give it a day or two. And if it continues to fail here, yeah, we can short it. But the problem for me is always going to be, where is that daily 21 at? If you're closing dailies above that, the bulls have control, not the bears. Okay? Good. I'm glad we could clear that up. Hopefully it clears it up. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.